send recordings to external through Teams. It's a security feature. I'll upload it into YouTube and just send you the link. Yeah, then you can share it with anyone. So it's going to be say again.
Fab, great.
Yeah, good. I'm off camera today because my I've been having trouble all morning. If I show myself, then I go mute, I go quiet, which is clearly no good. We won't get very far. So what we're going to do, we're going to really sort of talk you through the concept of the Sercle app, how it works, and then Brian will hook into a live demo, obviously on our test accounts, just to bring it to life for you, to show you the the functionality and what we've done. But just to go back a little bit, and I'll also send you through a deck if we haven't already. Forgive me, I can't remember if we have or not. What we're going to do, it's not going to be death by PowerPoint. So the concept of the Sercle app was discussed actually before I started Sercle. And, during the pandemic, a lot of credit unions had, if you can hear strange grunting and growling, it's just my dog.
I was wondering what that was.
Rolling himself on the carpet and scratching his back and wriggling. So he's settled down now. There is a company who we've partnered with this called Nevo. So Nevo have been around with the credit union sector for some time, and they really came to fruition in terms of their solution during the pandemic. And what Nevo is in essence a messaging service. So you can do all sorts of different things with Nevo. You can send messages, you can receive messages. They built it round the concept of WhatsApp. All right. It's all fully encrypted, banking grade technology. So messaging service, you can members can send documents, upload documents, and they appear in your console. But as I said, Brian will take you through all of that in terms of the demo in due course. So the only real thing that was missing from the Nevo proposition was integration into the Curtain system. All right. Mm-hmm. It was pretty one-dimensional. So on its own, obviously, members, you can't hook into the member record via Curtains. But what we did was build some integrations to allow members to self-serve. Now, if you just take a moment, and I'm just putting my Calderdale Credit Union hat on. If you just think and take a moment to reflect on how many phone calls, emails, over-counter you get, right, what's my balance? How come I've only got £5 left when I thought I had 50? So we go into the Curtains maintenance screen. Well, actually, Joan, you spent 25 quid at the pub on, or you drew it out, that sort of thing, and you did a withdrawal on Friday. I forgot. What my last 3 transactions or my last 5 transactions, because I don't understand why I've got that balance. So all of that, I want to make a cash withdrawal. I want to withdraw. So just even thinking about those few queries and how much time it takes staff to deal with those. I remember we got approximately, and this is forget email traffic, we had a counter as well, a couple of counters. We had, we must have taken about 100 out of 100 inbound calls a day. 80% of those calls actually covered withdrawal request, what's my balance, and why is my balance XXX? I don't understand why. Can you help me out? Right. So we took those 3 top inbound queries to credit unions, talked to a lot of different credit unions and using, our own experiences of working in credit unions. And we created 3 principal integration points as a start. Balance inquiry, and again, we'll show you exactly how it looks and feels. Withdrawal request. It's not an automatic withdrawal request. It has to But again, we'll go into that, why we did it that way, and also mini statement functionality. All right. So it also has messaging. And the thing about this is it's fully secure. So if you just think now how you might or might not work, it's, stuff coming in over the counter, emails coming in, with shots of the passport and, the proofs that you might ask them. So, this was about bringing all of the different elements, different components, and different points of stress for a credit union operation into an app. All right. So that's the premise behind the Sercle app. And, we've had very, very good feedback around how effective it has been in freeing up a lot of a significant amount of staff's time to allow them to focus on what I call, Janine, value add. Value add activity, marketing, loan underwriting, credit control, all that stuff. All right. So that's the overview. What we'll do now is I'm going to hand over to Brian to take you through. And Brian, if we start from from the member experience in terms of downloading the app and what that looks like and how they would register, then we can hop into the console and give that dual view of credit union and member around the balance inquiry, etc., please. Brian, you're on mute. Unlike Brian, actually. Unless he's gone to sleep.
Hello.
Hi.
Brian.
Again. Thank you. Hi there.
Yeah. So we'll hand over to Brian. And ladies, please, if something isn't clear, it's clear to us because we know what you know what I mean. If something isn't clear, please shout. This is your your session. So I'll hand over to Brian now, and I'll come in at various points as required. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so just now you have our members area. So that's the web-based application. So this is going to really replace that, and it's a native app. So it's downloaded from iOS or the Play Store, depending on which of your device your member has. There's lots of different ways to discover the device. We can provide you with a QR code so that in your shop window, someone passing by can simply scan the QR, takes them straight to the store. It can be in the footer of all your outgoing emails, download our new app now with a little link in the bottom of the email. So or just by SMS invite through the Nevo console. So you can get a list of all the unregistered members from Sercle, because we store who's registered with the device. We can provide you with a list of all the unregistered people, and then you can do a wee kind of mass marketing, and send them an SMS inviting them to download and use the app. So lots of nice little ways to invite.
I just come in on there just to enhance that really appropriate comment. So what how we normally advise, and we can go on to onboarding perhaps in another session. I don't want to give you death by too much information. So what we normally do is once you decide that yes, this is really something we want to move forward with, and we can go on onboarding strategy at a later date. This is just to really give you an initial look and feel for the app and its functionality. We do always recommend a very slow friends and family testing, and then start with, and you'll have a list of them in your mind already, the most, let's put it politely, labour intensive members. Yeah, the ones that will be at 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock every day with the same question. We know our members, don't we? You'll know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
So I always recommend to start off with those. And what we can do, as long as your mobile numbers are up to date on the maintenance screen, we SMS from the app or from this console and target those. All the wording, everything is what you decide. This is built to reflect, your branding, they call it tone of voice, don't they? So you decide on what you want it to say. Download the app now, bum, bum, and then it's a little link. It'll take them to the appropriate app store, Google or Apple, Android, and then they crack on. So we build it out that way slowly to basically do two things: to allow the team to become comfortable with it internally. It's always recommended just to start slowly, and then we attack the member base. You identify, and you might upload 100, 200, 300, whatever you want to do. It's your strategy to define, but we'll be there to help you and share some best practice. All right.
Okay.
Brian, thank you.
Thanks, Debs. So here we have on the screen our Sercle app. So for login is nice and simple. Once the member has registered, which just requires their name and telephone number, they'll be sent an SMS to the mobile device that they're registering on, just for two-factor authentication. And once they pop in that 6-digit passcode, they're then asked to create a new login. Same is true if they forget. Up at the top right here, there's an option for forgot login. So rather than that cumbersome way that you do with the members area, you have to get emails and you have to approve, the access and all that. They simply get a message sent to their registered device, again, a unique passcode. Once they feed that in, they can then just create a new PIN to log in. Super simple registration or forget details. So there's nothing you need to do in Kesho Web. That all that kind of thing goes away now. There's nothing that comes to you for approval. It's self-serving. Okay, so
you cry.
Distracting myself and putting the wrong PIN, but there we see we're now logged in. So as Deb says, this is a communication tool predominantly. So we've got the chat history as you would with any kind of conversation app. But down at the bottom, we've got a couple of tabs. We've got the Actions tab. So these are where we take those members area features and bring it into the app. So we've got our loan application, which would be the LACE application, which you'll be seeing next week.
Yep.
So I won't go into that. But we've got a balance inquiry, a mini statement, and withdrawal request. So those really common things that you have in the members area. But have a wee look through the menu, just do a balance inquiry. So what this is doing is in real time, this is sending a message to your on-premise database, grabbing that member's information from Curtains as it sits just now, and then presenting it back as a message to the member. It's taking the product names from product maintenance. So if you've called it, main savings account or Christmas club, it's dynamic in how it labels those accounts. But nice and simple. These are all the products that member one has in Curtains. Really straightforward. If we wanted to see a mini statement, what happens then is it will just prompt us, which account do you wish a statement for? Go for our Share One account. And then what we're doing is we're presenting the last 10 transactions on the account. So just like if you go to an ATM, I think you only get 5 transactions, but we're just displaying the most recent 10 transactions. So, they should be able to see anything that's happened if they have any query about their balance. So just nice and simple, narrative and amounts. And then the last thing is the withdrawal request. So this is the bigger one. So like the members area, product maintenance in Curtains controls which accounts members can request withdrawals from. So the little tick box in product maintenance you may have seen, like the web, when it's turned on or off, it determines whether the member can even make a request in here. So all these things work in the same way. So Share One and Universal Credits allow withdrawals. So you can only withdraw from accounts that are stored in Curtains.
Yep.
So again, this is all dynamically happening. It's every action is going to Curtains as it sits right now, not a snapshot of what was uploaded somewhere. So it's in real time taking the account information from Curtains. And then we go through how much would you like to withdraw. And rather than one big forum, where they've got to kind of through all the boxes. We present it a question at a time because it's just much nicer user experience. And the last thing we're going to ask here for is a reference, and we recommend the user membership number, unless they're paying a bill and they have to quote some unique reference. But once you click on OK and submit that, again, like the members area, we're just saying that this isn't a real-time process. Here's our sort of processing hours. We'll process it at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. If we get it after this, it's going to be the next working day. But you get to customize all these messages based on how your credit union operates.
Mm-hmm.
So it preempts them, chasing up, expecting it to be in their account 10 minutes later. So it's just little dynamic messages that we're presenting back.
Brian, a couple of questions from me to help the ladies, and we get this quite commonly. So obviously this can all be managed according to your internal processes.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian, what happens if the member has a Christmas club or a locked account, as I call them, and I don't know what your product stack is, Janine, ladies, but so what if they want to withdraw from the Christmas club or something like that? What would happen then, please?
All right. So balance inquiries are available for accounts all the time, okay, regardless of whether they can make withdrawals. But on that list where it asked them which account they wish to withdraw from, the Christmas account would just be excluded from that list. So it would only present products that they have that the credit union allows withdrawals for. So say you have that Christmas club, it's only open in November, December time, because you want them to save in throughout the year. It just simply wouldn't present it as an option. So they're not going to get through a form and complete it and then be told, oh, you can't do that. We're stopping them at the first hurdle.
So thank you. So what would happen in the case of, so we're talking about a Share One account, and they need to leave a minimum of £10 in the account to comply with the credit union rules. So they have £50 in the account and they request £50 withdrawal. What would happen then, please?
Okay, so what we'll do here, we're kind of finished with the Sercle app part of the things, but what we can do now is show you how that looks in curtains and actually answer that question that Debs has just brought up there. So if you bear with me a wee second, I'm just going to switch.
No problem.
And hopefully you're seeing the login screen now.
Yeah.
Okay. So all activity from Sercle app comes into one single place, and you actually have access to it already because it's a live part of the system. Under processing, we have Sercle app integration. Okay. Are you able to see this screen okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Right. So we've actually got 2 withdrawal requests for this member, one from their Share One and one from that account, the UC account that we just made the £50 withdrawal from. Now we're color coding already because we went through a series of validations to ensure that nothing leaves the credit union that ought not to. And that is things like Deborah mentioned, where you have to have a minimum share balance. You've got loans that are pledged against share accounts. You may already have other share withdrawals on file, because a member can put through as many as they want between, your batch of runs as they do in the members area just now. So we're already saying, like, this Share One, we're highlighting it in red because there is an issue here, and it's because the member has actually a loan account that's tied to this product and they don't have any free cash at all. So straight away you could be getting onto the member to say, this withdrawal can't happen, you don't have any sufficient funds. What we can do is, if there was any free money here, say that was £20 was free, it would change the withdrawal request down to the £20 and put that through. Or you would simply reject it if the member says, okay, that's no good to me, just delete that, please.
Okay.
And this is why we decided not to go with this sort of straight through processing concept, because we, asked, and you can't win, can you? Yourselves, every credit union does it differently. Every credit union wants something different. But we felt when we were designing this product that this was the safest, less risky approach. So, there will always be, albeit it's presented in a very easy way, and it's literally just a question of, you know, yes or no, mostly yes. It gives the opportunity for the credit union to have the final say and to liaise with the member accordingly if there is an exception.
Yep.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Debs. So in the circumstance where the member was happy to, you know, have the share withdrawal amended to the maximum free withdrawal, you would just include them in the selection and ask it to import. But again, you know, even though we said yes to that member and there was no free cash, it's simply going to state that it can't make that withdrawal at all. You know, it's double checking again and again based on the current activity of when you process it through Curtains. And that just goes into the normal workflow as the members area withdrawals do. It goes into the batch posting program. You know, it creates a scheduled share withdrawal on the member's account.
Okay.
We take it through nothing new to learn there. It's just a new kind of presentation screen where you can see what's going to be approved and rejected straight away.
Is that clear? Is it making sense?
Yeah. So, you know, if you did have somebody who either couldn't have one because they've got a loan locked to it, or as you say, a lower amount, with the obviously the credit union officer, then they'd have to phone the member, or could they message them back on the app?
Both. So you can jump into the Nevo console, which we'll show you.
Okay.
Segue into the Nevo console.
Nicely done. So Nevo console, every teller will have their own unique login, just like they do in Curtains, so that everything that is actioned by them is recorded and audited.
Yep.
So to log in is an email address and password, but it also sends a one-off passcode to the registered email address.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just for extra security.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're logged in to the Nevo console. So if you think of this as really like an Outlook, you know, you've got your kind of working folders down the left-hand side, your archives, you've got new messages coming into the inbox here. And when you click on a message, then you get to see the conversation history for a member. So when you've kind of dealt with a request, rather than it, you know, clogging up the main inbox, if you were to, you know, move this into just archive because you've dealt with the last request, anything that the member does or messages you, just pops straight back in there to say, like, this needs attention, just like an email. So you always know what you need to be working on. Okay, but
yeah.
So for this member here, like you said, you know, if we were going to say that withdrawal request couldn't happen, then you would simply type a message. That's it. You know, you're just sending a message like you would, you know, any regular SMS.
Yeah.
But the good thing about this is, I suppose, is rather than a telephone call, you know, where they might be busy, messages, it pushes up a notification to the little app on the screen, you know, when you've got a new message, and they can reply to it, you know, as soon as they can. But yeah, messages or calls to deal with it.
Okay, thank you.
And again, you know, if you don't select it to be imported, it would just sit there pending until such time as the member got back to you. So it's not like you have to do something with it there and then. You can exclude those requests and just deal with them on a one-by-one basis when the member gets back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we're in the console. Just a quick overview of this. I'm conscious that there's a lot of information to take in here, but this is based around I'm sure you've encountered them before, chatbots. You know, if you go into Sky or O2, you know, you get these little pop-ups that say, how can we help you today? And you get a series of kind of little questions that pop up and you can reply to it, and then it directs you down, you know, a particular path. That's one of the powerful tools behind this. So a member just downloads, for example, the app for the first time, okay? And they're presented with a welcome message, okay? So the welcome bot is just, again, it's these automated chats, but it follows this sort of workflow. And these are, you know, we'll guide you through creating these workflows and best practices based on other people's experience. But what it's saying here is, hi, puts in member's name, welcome to credit union name. Okay. The next thing it pops up and says, well, are you already a member of the credit union? Because as you know, you want to encourage new members and existing members to download this app. So, that's going to be the first question you're always going to ask is, are you already with us? If they say yes to that, then it puts them into a form, which then asks, great, can you just confirm your membership number? And if they weren't an existing member, then we'd want to put them into a different form where it goes into like a sort of new member joining form where you'd want to capture their name and address and, all the other normal things for a new joiner.
And we've actually, while Brian is talking through that, we've actually connected Lace to the app. So now, so you're currently using join only, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could push the join only piece down here at this point. So it's auto joining as per your existing method.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, great point, Deborah. So so
Yeah.
rather than having the capture in here of a standard form and then you have to re-input it, point them to your existing Lace application, and it just sits nicely inside the app and they go through that normal joining process. But you get to bring it into Curtains automatically.
Yeah, it's really powerful, and hopefully you're getting. And we will obviously we'll give you some standard bots as they're called, as part of your package. And we've actually got a workshop or the beginning of a revitalized relationship with Nevo. We've got our first workshop this Wednesday because we're going to work much more closely together. So yeah, it'll be good. So we'll give you a standard set of bots and you can then amend them accordingly, again talking to your branding, etc. So it's really super flexible. You can create loan pathways, so if you decide that you want to take the borrow element of Lace, we just hook that into it. So technically the Sercle app becomes the first point of contact, if you want it to be that, for new members and existing member queries, standard queries and loan applications. So it really is quite powerful, can be very, very powerful.
Yeah, so these Nevo bots are really there to, I suppose, replace those downloadable forms that you have as well on your members area. I've got a new banking details, so rather than ask them to log in, download a form, or you can just send them a new fax request form through the app. So they're just completing it online there, nice and simple, and then you get to review that in the console. But it can be for all manner of things that you're doing. Any sort of communication you have with a member, you can automate it through the Sercle app, and the member can self-launch these journeys as well, as you've seen, with the balance inquiry and such. So if they do have new bank details or a change of address, then you create the little journey that you would normally do. So a change of address might say, well, okay, let's confirm your new address. Okay, now I need you to upload proof of your address. So it'll prompt them to take a picture of one of the forms that you accept, a council tax bill or whatever. But it goes through those steps one by one, prompting the member without the staff having to intervene and push those steps. So it's really just kind of streamlining the processes that you have at present. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Other things we can do in here, I don't know if you're doing it already, but is e-signing. So
Yeah.
we've done, so we've got e-signing capability within here. You would just create your loan agreement template, a wee sample here, and then you just pop in the fields that you want the member to complete and what the field is that you want them to complete, so whether it's a signature or a date or to type their name. But then you can push that through the Sercle app. Again, you then use their mobile device to digitally sign on the screen, and it returns back to you.
And you can use that for all sorts of different scenarios, again, dependent upon your particular processes, changes of address, so on and so forth, all of that stuff. Again, what this can do, it just molds to how your business works. Yeah, because it's impossible to standardize. Well, you can standardize the 3 integrations that we've done, but you know, every credit union does something a little bit differently. So this is why this, for me, is so powerful, because it can just, you know, mirror exactly what you do internally, and we can build it. Okay.
And recalling that information that member submits, whether it's an upload or a form or whatever, is quite simple as well. Each customer has their own little sort of dashboard, which shows, you know, rather than scrolling through all that conversation history, you can just scroll through the different forms that they requested. You know, or I made a request for a withdrawal on Monday the 9th of January. You can quickly go through all the form submissions and then see exactly what they submitted, what narratives they had and things. So it's nice to look back on, you know, things that they've uploaded or completed out with those conversation pieces.
The auditors love it.
Bet they do.
Can imagine. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, unless you have some questions at the moment, I think we'll kind of leave it there. We don't want to go into too much detail and overwhelm you, but that hopefully gives you a good idea as to the capabilities there.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I've got a quick question. You know, when you download the app, obviously it says on your Sercle, is it called Sercle or would it be called Save Easy?
We can pop your branding on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is the Sercle app, but we will, as part of setup, get your logo and a bit of blurb about the credit union, and we can put the logo on as well, can't we, Brian, on the internal pages?
That's right. So when you see the mobile device desktop there, like you said, it's Sercle that they click onto, but once they come into the app, it's then your colour and your name at the top of it. So it will say Save Easy Credit Union, and it will have your kind of colour and logo within the app.
Yeah.
Okay.
So other than that desktop icon that will say Sercle, it's entirely Save Easy within it.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, and the reason we had to do that, so to create a white label version for every credit union would be prohibitively expensive, i.e. the icon on the in the App Store. Yeah, I think it's about 20 grand a shot, which just completely is, you know, price, you know, you can't, who can afford that, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Your brand is absolutely front and center once they get into it.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Anything else for this session?
Any questions?
No.
Sure.
No. Yeah.
No, I think you've covered everything. Thank you.
Yeah, what I will do is I'll ping you through. So as I said, we're in the process of, at the moment, the cost. So you pay a small setup fee, which includes everything of £250. And that includes all the training, everything, the setup, the creation of your own, you know, your own console, account, etc. At the moment, we are on, and the contract will feature this. We're on a per click pricing, and that will become clear when I send you the paperwork. But we are in the process of looking at that, and this is forming part of the conversation on Wednesday, right? Because my recommendation is through to Jay. I really want to move to a bundle pricing, so you know exactly how much you're spending every month. All right, so that's in flight at the moment. So it's existing T's and C's in terms of pricing paperwork, but it will give you the, you know, it'll go into all the clauses, etc., which won't change. So I'll ping that through so you can have a look at it, and any other pack that is appropriate. What's your initial view, if you can, you know, not trying to push them into a corner? Do you think it's positive? Do you think it's something that potentially could be of use at the credit union?
Yeah, I think it's definitely of use because it will, well, certainly our more savvy members, it will stop the balance queries and, like you say, withdrawal queries and that sort of thing. You do get a lot of phone calls for it. The only drawback is trying to get the older members using it, but I'm sure that's the case with everybody. And yeah, then it would just come down to cost, obviously.
Exactly. And when we're talking about cost as we progress through this, it's really and start to think about, well, how much time would it actually save in terms of headcount, and that's your return on investment, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll ping the paperwork through so you can have a look at it, and then we'll develop the conversations once the repricing strategy is a little further developed, and I'll have more of an idea on that later this week, early next week.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get this recording through to you. Sometimes it can take a little while to download into YouTube, but it should be end of play today, if not tomorrow morning.
Fabulous, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else to add before we go, Brian, Joe?
Nothing from me, thanks.
Good stuff. Lovely to see you both.
You too.
Yeah.
And we will we'll pick up shortly. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Best of day.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.